Welcome, Lumineers and fans of the happiest card game on earth. We're racing through our set review for Ursula's Return, and today it's the turn of Sapphire. We start off with a 2-costed inkable 1/4 with 1 lore, Anna, Braving the Storm, Dreamborn, Hero, Queen, and I Was Born Ready. If you have another hero character in play, this character gets +1 lore. Common card with art by Maria Dresden. This is a fine 2 cost, to be honest with you. 4 on the butt means it's probably going to be a little tricky to deal with on curve. And, this on 2, but hero bodyguard or something on 3 maybe. And this then starts questing for a good number. I don't mind this. I'm not sure where the hero archetype sits in the game currently. There's some hero support in Emerald, there's in Steel, there's in Sapphire. There's a lot of heroes in the sort of bodyguard style package of Amber Steel. So I don't really know where it's all sort of sits, but yeah, Sapphire definitely had some hero support in this set. Whether it's a deck yet, I'm not sure, but I don't mind this as a little 2-drop, to be honest with you. And then we also have a 4-costed inkable 2/4 with 2 lore, Anna, True Hearted, Dreamborn Hero, Queen, Knight. And let me help you, whenever this character quests, your other hero characters get +1 lore this turn. They go pretty nice together, right? You play this on 2, you play the first one on 2, something else on 3, this on 4. You're questing away for quite a bit. I imagine if you put these behind some hero bodyguards, this is actually kind of playable, I think, honestly. Obviously, the bigger it gets, cost-wise, the more of an issue the lower strength is, but just on 4, chances are you can probably turn this sideways once or twice behind a bodyguard. I think it's pretty good. A 6-costed uninkable 3/4 with 3 lore, Aerial Treasure Collector, Storyborn Hero, Princess with Ward, and the Girl Who Has Everything. While you have more items in play than each opponent, this character gets +2 lore. I think this is amazing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't play items. I'm not really a Sapphire player in general, to be honest with you. But as far as I'm concerned, this comes down on 6 and turn 7 quest for 5. The chances of you not having more items than your opponent is really quite slim, I feel, in a deck that's running this card. If you play against me, more items than me is 1. I run 0 items in my deck currently. There's an argument for maybe that hidden Inkcaster coming into Emerald Amethyst, but overall, this just seems like an absolute shoo-in for items deck. It's just a more consistent Tamatoa. Yes, Tamatoa is letting you get stuff from the yard, bringing stuff back from discard, but overall, I just think this is great, and it's Ward as well, so it gets around Medusa. I don't know. Maybe I'm off it. Maybe people who know items and Sapphire better than me are ones you should listen to. I mean, that's probably true about all of these cards. You should listen to other people, not me. 4-costed inkable 3/3 with 2 lore, Aurora, a Floodborn Hero Princess with Shift 2. Your items get Ward, and then all of your items gain the ability that you can exert them to look at the top card of your deck and do something with it. I'm sorry, I don't have the translation for this to hand. Yeah, so it's a little sort of scry. You can exert this, exert one of your items, look at the top card of your deck and then put it on the top or the bottom. Yeah, don't mind this. I feel like this probably goes in, it's a good item card, I feel. I don't know, I just don't get items. 2-costed inkable 1/3 with 1 lore, Aurora Tranquil Princess with a Ward. Nothing really to say here. It's definitely a stat line we've seen before. Doesn't shift neatly. The previous one is shift 2, so this really wanted to be a 1-drop to get the shift off nicely, but even if you're playing this on 1 and then shifting on 2, you have no items for her to protect, so maybe it's fine to be playing the shift 1 a little later. 5-costed inkable 3/5 with 2 lore, Dang Hu, Talon Chief, Storyborn Villain. You better talk fast. Your other villain characters gain support. So this was the card I got to reveal for the set. I'm very glad to Ravensburger for including me. As whether or not this will see any play, I don't think it does right now, unfortunately. It is nice to see villains get more and more support. Literally, in this case, whether or not support is going to be really a relative keyword, it's something I'm really just not sure about. But otherwise, just good to see some villain support, and hopefully it keeps getting fleshed out as we continue. 1-costed inkable 1/3 with 1 lore, Fa Li, Mulan's Mother, Storyborn Mentor, uncommon. Common even. Nothing to talk about here really, unless we ever get a shift target, but currently we don't. 3-costed inkable 2/2 with 2 lore, Flounder Collector, character's companion, storyborn ally with support, and I'm not a guppy. If you have a character named Ariel in play, you can play one less for this character. So this suffers from the same problem that Max suffers from in Amber. There currently isn't a one-costed Ariel, so you can't play this on curve with the discount on 2, in the same way that you can't play Max on curve with the discount of 2 with a single one-drop Prince Eric. But otherwise, you know, it's still a fun card, great art, good to see Flounder getting more love. You know, even if you have the Ariel out, it's still just a 2-costed 2/2 with 2 lore. Yes, it has support, but otherwise, you know, it's not really on rate for what it should be doing, really. It's about as good as a vanilla. 4-costed inkable 3/6 with 1 lore. Aid. Alright, Aid, how's it going, mate? Every single time I see this card in a foreign version, it just makes me laugh that it's just called Aid and in that language. So this one, yeah, it's a 3/6. It's a beefy vanilla. Not really much else to say about it. The interesting thing here is this. Is the flavor text. The rough translation says, this cute little plot Ursula, tentacles miles away, that sneaky sea witch. I can use this. While you keep those hateful Illumineers busy, I can carry out my plan. So he's seeing that everyone's digging around in the sea, and I got a feeling he might be in the mountains somewhere, because a lot of cards are pointing towards things happening in the mountains. Yeah, looks like fun. Looks like we're setting up the next story arc, which is really good. 3-costed inkable 3/2 with 2 lore, Hans Noble Scoundrel, storyborn villain prince. When you play this character, if you have a princess or a queen character in play, you can gain a lore. Actually, no, sorry, I've read that wrong. If there is a princess or character queen in play, you gain a lore. It doesn't have to be one of yours. Your opponent can be playing one as well. This is common card. I like this with the Arnas we just saw, even though they are looking for heroes, and this guy is the bad guy, as we all know. Spoiler alert. But yeah, there's a lot of decks that are running princesses and queens. There may be, you know, Sapphire Amber, arguably the least supported color combo, or at least the least played color combo. Is there a thing here with the shift queens? With some of the singer princesses, maybe? I'm not sure. 4-costed inkable 3/3 with 1 lore. Iduna, caring mother. Storyborn mentor queen and enduring love. When this character is banished, you may put this card in your Inkwell face down and exerted. Yeah, the trope consistently carries on. If you are a parental figure in a Disney movie and you die, you go into the Inkwell. And we see it with James and Grandma Tala and that one cat randomly that kind of doesn't really fit the bill. But otherwise, you know, I don't. It's weird, isn't it? Because you would think this is really strong. Oh yeah, a body, and when it gets dealt with, it's ramp. But they just, other than the Tala a little bit earlier on in the game, they just aren't really seeing much play. It's interesting that there's just better options now. 8-costed inkable 8/8 for 3 lore, John Silver. Just a big beefy vanilla. I don't really seeing any play, honestly. If you're at 8 ink and all you're doing is putting this down, you're going seriously wrong. So unless we see some massive cost reductions to line up with villains, I don't really see this one seeing much play. 3-costed inkable 1/4, Olaf, Kara's Enthusiast, Floodborn ally with shift, discard an item card, and whenever he quests, each of your characters get strength equal to this character's strength. So it's support for all. You get support, you get support, and you get support. Fortunately, it's only 1, so you're questing with him and giving everyone +1 strength. Doesn't feel particularly impactful, but, you know, on 3, a 1/4, quest for 2, yeah, maybe that's good enough. It does shift. I don't think discarding an item is worth shifting this out onto a 1-drop. Inkable 1/2 with 1 lore, Olaf, trusted companion with support. I don't think this is good enough to play for the shift line. I think if you are going to want to play that big Olaf, you are just happy to put him down on 3. 3-costed inkable 3/3 with 1 lore, Pascal, inquisitive pet, storyborn ally with colourful tactics. When you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. I don't think there's a Sapphire Amethyst deck that runs this and Bruno, but there might be a Sapphire Amethyst deck that runs this and Bruno. I think a Bruno is going to see play in decks where there's just so much consistency that you're going to hit it naturally, like Brooms or Madrigals. Actually, no, even the Madrigals doesn't work for it because you have to name the card. It's pretty much Brooms. It's Bruno and Brooms, baby, all day long. Sorry, Pascal. 3-costed inkable 1/3 with 2 lore, Prince Philip, Gallant Defender, storyborn hero prince with support, and whenever one of your characters is chosen for support, they gain resist 1. This is a rare card with art by Mike Parker. maybe the Sapphire Steel is a thing for heroes. I can see this going in heroes. This quest behind a bodyguard makes the bodyguard even bigger. And, quest for 2, all the hero stuff is gaining it more lore. And do you know what? All of this stuff has totally passed me by in reveal season, and now I'm looking at it here properly for the first time. I think it could be a thing. 5-costed Inkable 3/5 with 3 lore, Rapunzel Appreciative Artist. While you have a character named Pascal in play, this character gains Ward. Pretty solid body, questing nicely. It's also hero. The only real Pascals we have are the Sapphire one we just looked at, and obviously the Amethyst part-time evasive from set 1 still sees some play. I kind of like that this has Ward if you have a Pascal out. Do you play the 3-drop Pascal in this Sapphire Steel hero deck that we're building right now just for this card? I don't think you probably do, but still, otherwise I don't hate this body. It just kind of needs the Pascal out, else it dies to Medusa. 2-costed Inkable 1/3 with 1 lore, Scuttle, Expert on Humans, Storyborn Ally. Let me see. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an item card and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. I will still stand by this being a staple in item decks. I know people have been up and down about it. Arguably, if you don't have your Fishbone Quill, I'm not sure there's a better thing you can play on 2 to find it. It's that good. The only real problem I see with this is playing this on 2, finding your Fishbone Quill, playing against Emerald and saying, go ahead. Playing against Amber and saying, go ahead. Here's the thing you get to be bare necessities. That's the only real downside I can see to this. Otherwise, I'm not sure there's a better 2-drop in the game for items, honestly. 6-costed Inkable 6/6 with 2 lore, Sisu, Wise Friend, Storyborn Hero, Deity Dragon, just a big uncommon, not much else to say. 3-costed Inkable 3/3 with 1 lore, the Queen, Diviner or Divinator. This is a legendary card with the ability you can exert to look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You can reveal an item, put it in your hand. If the item costs 3 or less, you can put it out on the board exerted, and then put the rest of your bottom of the deck in any order. So, a slightly beefier Scuttle. Being able to play that Fishbone Quill that you missed drawing or whatever, but it does bring it in exerted. That's obviously, it was pretty crazy power creep probably if it wasn't exerted, because on turn 3 you're putting a 3/3 down and a 3-drop item that, items don't suffer from summoning sickness, so you can start using them straight away. They don't suffer from, they don't need their ink drying, excuse me. Wow, I haven't played Magic in like a year and a half. It's still so difficult to get that terminology out of my head. So yeah, I still think it's pretty good. It's weird though, because this is a legendary. I think the uncommon Scuttle is just as good, and the fact that it's on 2 is maybe even better. 4-costed Inkable 3/3 for 2 lore, Transformed Chef, Castle Stove, Storyborn Ally with a Culinary Masterpiece. When you play this character, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. Really good draft body this one, but otherwise probably won't see any play. A 9-costed Inkable 7/9 with 3 lore, Triton, Champion of Atlantica, Floodborn King, Shift 6 and Imposing Presence. Opposing characters gain -1 strength for each location you have in play. This is a legendary. Location matters certainly isn't there yet. There's nowhere near enough good locations to play, but they definitely want to keep an eye on for that in the future. There's a nice shift line with this. This does a couple of things quite nicely. If you can have a few locations out, the more locations out, the harder it is for your opponent to deal with the locations with the way they're normally dealt with, which is through challenging. So basically, you have 3 locations out. It's that everything's -3 to hit into those locations. The actual ability on this is fantastic. It's actually a really good stat line. It's huge. A 7/9 doesn't die to anything apart from like absolutely 100% targeted removal or a be prepared. 3 lore is great. The Shift 6 is fine. There's other Tritons that you're going to play that care about this. This is an absolute sleeper card because it just is not playable at the moment with the quality of locations we have. Every single time they print a good location in Sapphire or a colour that also cares about this kind of stuff, this card gets a little bit better. I am never one to say go and buy cards. Grab 4 of these whilst they're cheap. They will be cheap. Because one day there is going to be a Location Matters deck that this guy will love. There, you heard it here first. Don't quote me. This is not financial advice. Moving on, a 3-costed, uninkable 3/3 with 1 lore. Triton, Discerning King, Storyborn King. You can exert this to banish one of your items, gain 3 lore. Sure, you know, uninkable in an item deck, is this a 2 of just to kind of get you across the finish line? Probably not, the fact that it has to stick around for a turn. But even still, 3 lore might just be what you need. This is the item deck's goat, basically. Just that little sort of cross the finish line, get that last few lore. I still think the lines with like Lucky Dime and just putting down a bigger guy are still better for that sort of last minute lore, honestly. And then 4-costed inkable 3/4 Triton Young Prince, Dreamborn Prince with Superior Swimmer. During this turn he gains evasive. And Keeper of Atlantica. Whenever one of your locations is banished, you may put it into your inkwell face down and exert it. Uncommon card with a 1 lore. Sorry, I don't think I mentioned that. Yeah, so this is the shift target for that big guy. This comes down on 4. If your locations are dealt with before the big guy can come down, at least you're ramping into the big guy. This and the other one, like, honestly, they're really good. The problem is that the locations aren't, especially in Sapphire. I mean, the only real Sapphire location that saw any kind of play in the previous set was the big vanilla Scrooge McDuck manor, just because it was just big and clunky and difficult to deal with. The locations in Sapphire for this set, I don't really rate them. One cares about items. Medical Tent, maybe we'll look at in a moment. The problem with these 2 cards is they're really good, and they care about something that just isn't strong enough right now. 2-costed inkable 2/3 with 1 lore. Tuk Curious Partner, Storyborn Ally. Common card with fantastic art. Again, we often sort of look over some of the lower rarities as far as their art is concerned. This thing is adorable. This might be the cutest Lorcana card. I don't think it's been beaten. Look at that face. Look at that little chunky face. 8-costed uninkable action song. Dig a little deeper. Sing together 8 and look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Put 2 of them onto your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. Uncommon card. Way too expensive. You're never playing this. Sorry. Drawing 2 is good. Look at being able to filter 7 is really good, but that 8 uninkable, it's just going to be a dead card in your hand so often. Maybe, your 9-drop Triton sings this just to refuel your hand a little bit. 1-costed inkable action, Gleam, I think this is called. This says banish chosen item, its player gets 2 lore. I don't know, it's 1 and inkable. This could see a little bit of play. It might just be enough to get you over the finish line in an item heavy deck. Giving them the 2 lore, well, no, I was going to say giving them the 2 lore to get rid of an item in the mirror so the aerial quest for 2 more is kind of superfluous because you're at the same lore. But it might be enough to get you to win, I suppose. It depends on how far behind they are. It's inkable. It's a 1-cost. I don't think this is terrible. I don't know items. I don't understand items. Is this good? 2-costed uninkable action song. Seldom all they seem. Beautiful art on this one. Chosen character gets -3 strength. I don't think it's playable. It's singable and it's inkable. It's ticking all of the boxes. This numbers on strength is mattering more and more. There's a lot more stuff that's bouncing smaller strength, but it's still just another part in a combo just to get rid of a thing. I never loved 2-for-1 in, and this might even have to make you 3-for-1 something. Yeah, I don't think it's very good, unfortunately. 6-costed inkable Treasures Untold, an action song. Return up to 2 item cards from the discard into your hand. Way too expensive for the ability, I think. For a 6, I honestly think you should be able to play one of them. Return 2 items to your hand, put one of them out. For 6, really, I think that would be fine. As it stands, this is just a way too overcosted card, in my opinion. They're just very careful to make sure recursion isn't broken. Anything that brings stuff back from the discard is either very overcosted or uninkable, or just, not having the greatest lines. And I think this is another one that fits into that boat. 3-costed inkable item, Field of Ice. Icy defense. Whenever you play a character, they gain resist 1 until the start of your next turn. This is an item that just sticks around and makes stuff nice and beefy as it comes out. Goes nicely into bodyguard decks, I think. Maybe there is a hero, a hero bodyguard Sapphire Steel deck that this isn't. This doesn't mind, because it's just going to bring out your stuff and keep them really nice and beefy. I don't mind this. I'm not sure it'll see much play, though. 3-costed inkable item, Great Stone Dragon. Asleep, the item enters play exerted, and awaken. You can exert it to put a character card from your discard into your inkwell face down and exerted. Uncommon card. I really don't love this. I think some people are a bit hotter on this than me, but this is a 3-drop. So your turn 3 is put this down, nothing happens. Turn 4, this readies, you exert it, and have to have something in your discard at that point. So your 1 or your 2 drop has to have died. And then that goes from the discard into your Inkwell, face down and exerted. So on turn 5, you have ramped a single card, and you have your 4 drop, and you have either a 1 or a 2 drop on the board, and this. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's very good. I think it's too slow. It's too clunky. Again, it's the fear of making recursion too good, which I totally understand. It can be very easily broken. But all of the recursion just is slow or costly or clunky. And like for now, at least, that's just how it is. 1 costed uninkable item. Ice Block. Chilly Labor. Exert. Chosen character gets -1 strength this turn. Common card. Yeah, just chaff, I think, honestly. Like, again, strength matters, lower strength matters. I still don't think it's worth putting this in the deck. The first of 2 locations then, 2 costed inkable, 2 move cost, 7 willpower, treasure trove. While you have 3 or more items in play, this location gets 2 lore. Rare card that like just isn't as good as some vanilla ones, honestly. Having to have this on 2, but then also get 3 items out at some point, just to get this sort of generating any sort of value. It's kind of nice that stuff doesn't have to sit here. Maybe John Silver goes in this sort of Sapphire Steel location deck. John Silver, Triton. I don't know. Could be a thing, but I don't think it's there yet. Alright, next up then, Winter Camp, 3 costed inkable, 1 move cost, 8 willpower, 1 passive lore. Numbers look good on this one. What does it do? Help the wounded. Whenever a character quests while here, remove up to 2 damage. If they're a hero character, remove up to 4 damage instead. Common card. Maybe. I don't know. If you've got damage on it, it's probably because you're swinging into something. Stuff doesn't swing into you and leave it alive. So you're picking stuff off here. So you have to have something that wants to challenge, but then also doesn't mind questing so that it can heal. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, again, maybe some hero bodyguards don't mind this. Not sure. But yeah, locations haven't really enthused me this set, honestly. But there you go, that's Sapphire. Some good stuff in there, honestly. A lot of the good stuff, I think, is about items, and I'm just not really sure on the lines of those and whether they see play. I am excited for the Triton stuff. It ain't there yet, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on. It's what brooms looked like 2 sets ago. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like, and if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Till the next one, be good.